Welcome back, everybody. We're diving deep into AI today, something that's causing a lot of buzz right now. Inspiring imaginations, but also some anxieties. Yeah, definitely a hot topic. Our source material is this AI debates report, the AI dilemma, ethics, employment, and evolution.
It really gets to the heart of things, doesn't it? Examining those big questions about AI, both the amazing potential and the risks we need to consider.
For sure. And it's not afraid to dig into the controversy, can AI lead us to a utopia or steer us into ethical chaos? That's what this report's wrestling with. And that question has some very real-world consequences for all of us.
Absolutely. We can already see AI's fingerprints on so much, from those sneaky algorithms on social media to the voice assistants we talk to all the time.
So to map out this whole complex landscape,
Right.
we're going to explore four big debate points from the report. First up,
Mm.
ethical boundaries, then the impact on the job market, and of course the safety of AI tech itself. And then we get into something wild, the idea of AI helping us reach Type 1 civilization.
Right. Speaking of ethics, the report jumps right into that global debate around the EU's proposal for stricter AI regulations.
This isn't just some policy talk happening over in Brussels, is it? This could have a ripple effect across the world, impacting innovation and development everywhere.
That's a key point, because you've got people like Dr. Helen Park, this ethicist who's arguing that global ethical frameworks are essential. She believes we need clear regulations to build trust in AI systems and make sure they respect human rights and privacy.
Makes sense. But then you have the other side of the coin. The report also brings in Leo Silva, a tech entrepreneur who's worried that too much regulation will kill innovation. He's afraid we'll hold back potentially life-changing AI solutions if we're too restrictive.
It's the classic dilemma, isn't it? Finding that balance between encouraging innovation while also protecting ourselves from potential harm.
And what I find fascinating is how this isn't just an academic debate. The report mentions this hashtag AI ethics, which is blowing up on social media.
It shows how this topic has grabbed everyone's attention. People from all walks of life are weighing in. They recognize that AI is going to touch everyone's life in some way.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something that's probably on a lot of minds, jobs. The report paints a pretty stark picture of AI's potential impact on the workforce. They even give a real-world example of a tech company trying to automate 50% of their staff.
Yeah, that's definitely generating anxiety, and understandably so. But it's important to look at this issue with nuance and some historical context.
Exactly. Technology has always disrupted the way we work. I
Yeah.
mean, think about the printing press, the assembly line, personal computers. All of these innovations displaced jobs in certain sectors, but they also created whole new industries and jobs we never even imagined before.
And the report highlights this dynamic. Dr. Mia Lin, who's an economist, argues that AI will probably drive job evolution more than complete job displacement. She's optimistic about these new job categories emerging, ones that require uniquely human skills, like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence.
But are those skills going to be enough to make up for the potential job losses, especially in areas that are ripe for automation?
That's where the debate gets really interesting. You have voices like Jack Thompson, who's a union leader, and he's expressing a serious concern that AI could create a new underclass if we don't prepare for this shift in the workforce.
It's a good reminder that behind all the statistics and economic forecasts, there are real people whose lives are at stake. The report captures this human side by mentioning the hashtag AI jobs. It's full of personal stories, people's anxieties, their hopes, their struggles to adapt to a job market that's changing so fast.
It really emphasizes how urgently we need to find solutions so that everyone benefits from AI, not just a select few. Speaking of potential benefits, maybe it's time to jump into that fascinating, but maybe a little unnerving topic of AI safety.
The report starts this section off with a bit of a warning, a recent AI system failure in autonomous vehicles. It's a stark reminder that even with all the progress we've made, things can and do go wrong.
And when it comes to AI controlling things like cars, or even more critical infrastructure, the stakes couldn't be higher. That's why this discussion about AI safety is so crucial.
So help us understand this. Why is AI safety such a complex issue? What are the specific things experts are grappling with?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is just how complicated these AI systems are. We're not talking about simple machines with behaviors. We can predict AI systems are built to learn and adapt, which means their actions can sometimes be unpredictable, even to the people who created them.
It's almost like we're trying to predict how a living organism will behave, but one that's built on code and algorithms.
That's a great way to put it. And the report captures those different schools of thought on this. You've got someone like Dr. Alan Green, who's an AI safety expert, and he believes that our safety protocols are constantly getting better, With each challenge we face, he sees these incidents like the autonomous vehicle failure as learning opportunities, so we can build stronger and more robust systems.
So he's optimistic that we can stay one step ahead of the game.
To a certain degree, yes. But then you have someone like Sarah Vega. She's a cybersecurity analyst, and she's pushing for a much more cautious approach. She argues that AI's unpredictable nature means we have to make safety the top priority, especially when we're talking about applications that directly impact people's lives.
Which makes sense. It's like that old saying, better safe than sorry, right? Especially when sorry could mean serious harm or even death. And it seems like that cautious approach is gaining traction. The report mentions the hashtag AI safety hashtag, which is buzzing with these discussions about ethical considerations. Risk assessment. The need for more transparency in AI development.
It's just encouraging to see, because public awareness and scrutiny are essential. If we want this powerful tech to be developed and used responsibly, it's not just about the technology itself, but about the human values and ethical principles that are guiding its development.
Okay, so we've covered ethical concerns, the potential impact on jobs, and how crucial AI safety is. But now let's take a trip into a realm that feels a bit more sci-fi than reality. I'm talking about this concept of a Type 1 civilization, which our source says AI could play a big role in helping us achieve.
Yeah, it's a mind-blowing concept. The idea that we could actually harness all the energy our planet produces sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
It really does.
Yeah.
So break this down for us. What does it even mean to be a Type 1 civilization, and how does AI fit into all of this?
Well, this Type 1 civilization idea, it comes from something called the Kardashev scale. It's basically a way to measure how technologically advanced a civilization is based on how much energy they use, us humans right now. We're somewhere around a Type 0.7 civilization. So we haven't quite figured out how to harness all the energy that's available on Earth.
So like we're cosmic toddlers just learning to walk.
Kind of. But a Type 1 civilization, they've reached this point where they can control and use the entire energy output of their planet.
Okay, so we're talking about controlling things like volcanoes, weather patterns, even earthquakes. That level of power is hard to even wrap your head around.
It really is. And the report explores how AI could be a key tool in helping us achieve that level of mastery. They highlight Dr. Omar Patel, who's an environmental scientist, and believes that AI could help us become better caretakers of the planet.
So AI is like the ultimate eco-warrior. I kind of like that.
It's an interesting vision. Dr. Patel argues that AI could help us optimize how we produce energy, how we use resources, maybe even manage climate change, so we end up with a more sustainable and harmonious relationship with Earth.
That's an incredibly optimistic view, especially considering all the anxieties about AI's potential downsides. But does everyone share this utopian AI-powered vision of the future?
Not necessarily. The report also includes a more cautious perspective from a philosopher named Dr. Elise Dubois. She argues that while AI might have solutions to some of our biggest problems, we also have to be aware of those unintended consequences. Dr. Dubois emphasizes how important it is to prioritize human agency, making sure that AI serves humanity, not the other way around.
It's that classic fear of the machines taking over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like in those movies where robots become self-aware and decide humans are the problem.
It's a valid concern, and one we can't just ignore. As AI gets smarter and smarter, we need to make sure we stay in control of what we create. We need to think about the ethical implications of giving too much power to machines, no matter how good our intentions are.
It's a tightrope walk, isn't it? Trying to harness AI's amazing potential while also protecting ourselves from the risks.
Absolutely. And it's a conversation that needs to happen on a global scale. We need to bring together people from all different fields, scientists, ethicists, policymakers, and most importantly, the public, to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that aligns with our values and goals as a species.
Well said. And it's pretty remarkable that these conversations are already happening. The report mentions the hashtag Type 1 Civilization hashtag, which is trending online. People from all walks of life are speculating about the possibilities and the potential dangers of this next stage in human evolution.
It shows just how powerful AI is. It captures our imaginations and makes us ask these huge questions about the future of humanity. And it reminds us that in a way, we're all shaping that future with every decision we make, every line of code we write, every conversation we have about the ethics of this incredible technology.
Well, we've covered a lot in this deep dive so far. We've explored all these different sides of AI and its potential to reshape our world in some pretty profound ways. But before we wrap up, there's one more crucial aspect of AI we need to talk about. And that's how it might change how we understand what it even means to be human.
Yeah, it almost feels like AI is making us look in the mirror, right? Forcing us to confront what really matters to us and what makes us unique. As AI gets more sophisticated, it kind of blurs the lines between artificial intelligence and our own. And it makes us rethink stuff we thought was purely human intelligence, consciousness, creativity.
Exactly. It's like AI is challenging us
Hmm.
to figure out what human-like even means anymore in this new world.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty philosophical pretty quickly.
For real. Imagine if AI created a piece of art that really moved you, or composed music that could rival Beethoven. Would we value it less just because it didn't come from a human mind? That's a deep one. And what if it goes beyond art? What if AI starts making these huge scientific breakthroughs? Writing poetry that captures the human experience perfectly. Does that change how we see ourselves? Do we feel less special, less exceptional?
Those are the kinds of questions we're going to have to wrestle with as AI keeps evolving, and there are no easy answers. It makes us examine our own biases about intelligence, creativity, consciousness, things we've always thought belonged only to humans.
It's almost like AI is pushing us to evolve on a conceptual level, not just technologically. We have to expand how we think about these big ideas, what they really mean.
I think that's a huge takeaway from this whole conversation. AI isn't just some tool we're using. It's this force that's interacting with us, shaping us in ways we don't even fully grasp yet.
It's been a wild ride exploring all these different aspects of AI, from those practical concerns about ethics and jobs to these mind-blowing questions about what it means to be human in this world that's changing so fast.
And this conversation needs to keep going. We have to keep questioning, exploring, imagining what's possible with AI, both the good and the bad.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away? What should they be thinking about long after this episode is over?
Well, I think the biggest thing is AI's future is not set in stone. It's the future we're building right now, with every choice we make. How we develop AI, how we use it, how we think about it, all of that will determine whether it takes us to a better future or a path we wish we hadn't gone down. The power and the responsibility are in our hands.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope it sparked your curiosity and given you a lot to think about. And be sure to tune in for our next episode where we'll be tackling, well, we'll keep that a surprise for now, but trust us, it'll be another fascinating journey into the world of knowledge and discovery. Until then, keep exploring, keep those questions coming, and keep diving deep.
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about how AI will change things out there in the world, our jobs, our safety, the planet itself. But this report makes you think, doesn't it? How does AI change us on the inside? Like, what does it do to our very idea of being human?
Yeah, it's like AI's holding up this mirror, making us think about what we truly value, what makes us different from everything else. As these AI systems get more and more complex, those lines between artificial intelligence and our own intelligence, they get blurrier. And suddenly we're having to redefine things we always thought were ours alone. Intelligence, consciousness, creativity.
So it's not just AI becoming more human-like. It's us having to figure out what human-like even means now. That's pretty profound.
It is, and it gets into some deep philosophical territory. Think about it. What if an AI creates a piece of art that really touches you? Or music that's as good as Beethoven? Would we see it as less valuable just because it didn't come from a human mind?
Whoa. Yeah, what if it goes beyond art? Like, what if AI starts making these major scientific discoveries, writing poetry that perfectly captures the human experience? Does that make us feel less special? Less like we're the only ones who can do these things?
Those are the questions we're going to be facing more and more as AI keeps advancing. And there aren't any easy answers. It forces us to look at our own biases about what makes something intelligent, creative, conscious things we've always associated with being human.
It's like AI is pushing us to evolve, not just in terms of technology, but in how we think. We have to broaden our understanding of these big concepts.
I think that's a really important point. AI isn't just a tool. It's this force that's shaping us in ways we're only starting to understand.
It's been quite a journey exploring all these facets of AI, from the very real concerns about ethics and jobs, to these massive questions about what it means to be human in a world that's changing so quickly.
And it's a conversation we can't let stop. We need to keep asking questions, exploring possibilities, thinking about what AI could bring, both good and bad.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one thing you want our listeners to walk away with? Something they can keep thinking about?
I'd say the most important thing to remember is AI's future isn't set in stone. We're creating that future right now. With every choice we make, how we develop AI, how we use it, how we even think about it, it all determines whether AI takes us to a better future or a path we end up regretting. It's a huge responsibility, but it's in our hands.
That's a powerful message to end on. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Hopefully it's made you curious, giving you some things to ponder. And make sure to join us for our next episode, where we'll be diving into, well, we'll keep the topic under wraps for now. But trust us, it'll be another exciting exploration full of new knowledge and discoveries. So until then, keep asking those questions and keep diving deep.